Good evening, everyone. Or good morning, technically, I guess. Surprise stream. I just felt like sharing this with you guys, seeing as you've been along for the ride. I've got to a point where I'm thinking that I'm kind of happy with what I've got as a base. I'm going to keep adding mods to this. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, I've been putting together a Fallout New Vegas collection that does nothing but make the game look prettier, basically. That's all it does at the moment. I would consider it basic at the moment, but it does currently have 70-something mods in it. So, but there's a lot of fixes and tweaks. What was the catalyst for being happy with it? Believe it or not, Mojave Skylines. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's the last thing that made me just think, yes. I'm gonna show you. This is vanilla. Well, vanilla. This is visually vanilla. This is the vanilla. And I've picked the knights for a reason. You'll see why in a second, right? Have I got my Pip-Boy on? Nope. As you can see, typical Bethesda Game Studios night. It's pretty much clear as day. It's one of the weird things with BGS games. Visibility at night, almost as good as during the day. The only difference is the skybox has changed and they changed the shadows and things on the landscape. But in actual fact, it's just a desaturation filter. It's barely darker. So, yeah, I mean, if you changed the skybox, here's the thing, if you change the skybox and then the distant terrain that currently doesn't have any light on it, if you just remove that briefly, this scene wouldn't actually look that, it would look a little desaturated, that's it. Anyway, so that's vanilla. And I've got my remaster collection, which is currently... It's 76 mods, not including the LOD. Obviously, we need the LOD. That's kind of where it's all at. What am I missing here? Ah, yes. Have I added that? Apparently I added that. No, I think I deleted the one I was using. I added to the collection, and I've left it in to remind myself to add it. Ignore that. Basically, it's 75 mods then. It will be 76 with the LOD. And obviously, I've got the basic lighting mods I want. I've got a lot of texture mods. And I've got a ton of things that tweak the lighting or tweak the loading or the textures, make three-dimensional rain, a lot of stuff like that. Tons of little tweaks all the way through. A lot of it's to do with distant terrain, because that's one of the most horrific parts. And I've also now added, where is it? Skylines. Mojave Skylines, Lights of Vegas, plus there's a bunch of them. Lights of Vegas pollution, signage, distant lights. And honestly, it makes such a difference. I'm really... For Fallout New Vegas, I genuinely think it makes a huge difference. I mean, distant terrain mods like Dying does help in Skyrim, but I think for some reason Fallout New Vegas is especially bad. Partly because the distant terrain in both Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas wasn't good, but more so in New Vegas because New Vegas is a flat, bloody desert. So you can see a lot further very often. It's kind of like, what is the worst looking place in Skyrim when it comes to the distant terrain? It's around Whiterun, because it's one of the flatter areas and you can see quite far. And you see so much is missing. So yeah. And I do think it makes more difference in Vegas, just for that reason at all. So there you go, you can see the picture there. It reminds you of the... Now we load it up. with the mods, and... Oh, it's a bit dark. Oh, no, it's getting lighter. I mind you, it's probably hard for you to see this on the stream. I mean, I'll show you the daytime as well. I will show you the daytime. You can see with the lighting mods I've got, it's a lot harder to see. But just look at the lights. And I don't mean the strip. I mean, look at below the strip and off towards... Well, I'm going to turn. There. You can see little lights. And I'm loving that effect, especially at night, because, oh god, I do get stutters when I turn around. That does seem to be hard to get rid of. And the same is true there. Again, it might be hard to see on the stream if there's compression and things, but off in the distance I can see faint lights. Probably from the Bison Steve Hotel. I can see the floodlights on the prison. It's just really nice. And it is, honestly, I'll try and show you a comparison during the day as well, but like, this is what did it for me in the end when I was like, no, I'm loving that. I'm redoing... Is that Mojave Skylines? I believe that's most of the effect. This scene here was really nice. Again, it'd be best to show you a side-by-side. I will make a lot of side-by-side comparisons. But what makes this scene... Well, you know what? I think I should actually do that. I should just show you. Because this makes a huge difference. What I'm about to show you. For some odd reason. Yeah, sadly when you make it darker, it gets pixelated. It does. So it's probably a bad one to show on stream. Even on a YouTube video, it's not going to be easy because you will get pixelation. But when you're playing the game, the night obviously felt a little creepier because it actually felt like night. But more importantly, just the lights, those little speckles of light off in the distance, I really did like. Okay, so this is the scene... with no mods, no visual mods, right? First of all, look how boring the strip is. Look at the strip. Look how boring it is. Look at the Lucky 38 sign. Look how floodlit the road is here. But what I want you to do is look at the stop sign and then go to the left and look at... You can probably see some tents. Look above them. Look around there. Do you see how dark it is? Well, bland. Right? That area. Look how bland that area is. Same with this, to be honest. It's just sort of bland, right? It's not good. Oh, I think I left the LOD in. Did I leave the LOD in after I did? I think I did. I probably should wet it to do a proper comparison. I'm just going to have to redo that. Disable both of them. I'm going to do another deploy. I just want to double check. Because I actually felt like there was a bit more LOD there than I was expecting. But again, like it has no feeling of night, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just slightly blue, desaturated. Let's go back, double check. Right, so again, bland. You've got that lit, but nothing's moving. It's just kind of bland. Let's put the collection back in. Oh, no, it is enabling the LOD. It is. Right, I have added the LOD to the collection. That's why it's adding it and disabling it. All right, nope. We're fine. We're good. Fake night vision. Sort of. Will this be compatible with Taylor 2 Wastelands, or is it strictly FNV? This is a strictly FNV collection at the moment, I would say. I mean, I think Taylor. The thing is what I would probably be best off doing is making this and then making a Taylor 2 Wastelands version and altering it for that, because Taylor 2 Wastelands does have a whole heap of other stuff it needs that obviously would not be compatible with someone who's not using that. So I'm just going to stick with this first of all. But honestly, I'm using the same lighting mod that I used in Taylor 2 Wastelands, so it would probably be quite easy to convert it. And I do already have a few Taylor 2 Wastelands collections that I really do need to upgrade, update, and upgrade. So, now you see the sign, the Lucky 38. You see how it's actually got there's some animation. Look how the night looks, well, dark night. But look at the gap I told you to look at with the stop sign, to the left of the stop sign. I know it's a small, silly thing, but the light pollution from whatever the hell is over there really does let you know something's over there. Plus, not only does the place look darker, you've got little lights showing up from fires. The lights over there. It's so much more interesting here. And you can even see over there, if you look off in the distance, there's something off in the distance. There's a satellite dish. So yeah, I'm loving this. I'm absolutely loving it. I really am. I love the animated signs. It really does feel like there's a vibrant strip right over there. They need some lights here. The customers. I got my... Oh, I did have it on, yeah. So yeah, overall, I'm loving the effect. And I mean, this is probably maybe a little... Actually, it's a fairly clear night. But this feels dark enough that I feel like it's night, right? But visibility's not actually that bad either. So it's kind of I think this is a bit of a compromise. But yeah. So, how does it look during the day? How much better does it look during the day as well? Right. So it's... Do you want me to show you this shot without... So you can get an idea? I probably should do that. Let me just... Oh, actually... Alright, let's just turn off that. There are no optional mods in it at the moment. If you've not caught any of the other streams, the basic texture mods are NMCs on the base, and I think I also used his the washed out look textures as well. Oh, something's kind of gone wrong. It's not enabled them. Oh, because I've just disabled it. So why isn't that disabled? NMC's texture. Because you didn't... Right. I've had all sorts of... I'm not sure I need this pack, you see. I'm not actually sure I need this pack. Because I think I'm replacing more or less every texture. So I've been playing around with things. Let me just see if there's anything else obvious that's not actually currently put. Sandstone Desert. That's not in the collection. All right, that's not good. Right, let's turn that off. I think everything else looks... Obviously, you can see there's quite a lot of mods still. That most of those are stability or Dawn's UI. Okay. So, small error in my testing there. Yeah. Oh, it shows you them in the order you add them there. Okay, that probably makes sense. Right. So, have I made any changes to Gwent? What is it called? Isn't it called Caravan? No. This is purely and simply a what would you call it? Makeover. This is a remaster. Just so anyway, it's NMC's textures with NMC's washed out textures with Sandstone Desert on top of it, and then a road mod on top. Well, 2 road mods technically on top of that. I did try having Legacy Reborn between NMC's and the Sandstone Desert, but I don't think it had much effect. I was like, trying to cover every base. I'll continue to have a play around with it, but I think if you're using Sandstone Desert, there's no point using Legacy Reborn. Legacy Reborn looks good everywhere except Red Canyon, which is why we ended up going with Sandstone, being completely honest. There you go. There is the vanilla view. So what can you see? I mean, apart from the mountains, the hills, or let's call them hills, because they're definitely not mountains. They're barely bloody hills. They look very boring and plain and completely untextured. You've got Vegas, and you can sort of see the Vegas buildings, including the very base of the Lucky 38. Which is wrong. There is that the air base hangar? I think you can see the air base hangar there, but not a lot else. Yeah? And that's it, really, isn't it? I mean, there's just nothing. It's the most boring. I don't know why they did this. I don't know why they made their distant terrain so bad. What was it? Did they really need the performance back in 2010? I mean, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. You can't see the Bison Steve Hotel. You can't see the prison. You can't see anything. You can't see any trees on the... It looks like a place you can't go. Yes, to be honest, doesn't it? It looks like you're going to hit an invisible wall somewhere down there. For the PS3. Ah, you think it was the PS3? And probably the Xbox had the same problem. Right, so they had... I don't know why they don't have settings for PC that just re-enable everything. I mean, if they've got to start removing LOD and stuff like that for consoles, that's okay, but just ship a different LOD for PC. It's not that hard. It really isn't. Okay, so... It's still the most rock and roll way to play. By the way, a quick question. Anyone playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 using a controller? Is combat easier with a controller? Is it easier to do combos with a controller than a mouse? Because I've been watching some people pull off combos. But whenever I try a combo, half the time, I end up losing the lock. Because you're constantly moving your mouse left, right. Anyway, let's get back to this. Fallout New Vegas. Look at that for distant terrain. I mean, the hills nearby are not that interesting, but they're a bit more interesting. But look in the distance. Look at the strip. You can see the tower, you can see some of the buildings, but they're covered by other things now. The airbase has got a wall around it. You can see roads. You can see buildings all around. You can see trees. You can see a bunch of satellite dishes. Radio towers. It does stutter a little bit more, unfortunately. I think that's because it's loading textures in. I think it's usually a good idea to just do a complete 360 of, you know, just to load everything in, but down here, you can actually see a water tower. I mean, it might be hard for you to make out, but you can see it. And you can see the prison. And you can see, well, you can just see, you can see so much more. Even a building there. Is that the one where they're trying to fly the spaceship? The ghouls are all trying to... Huh. However, it's a better dull. I mean, it just is 1,000 times better. And I think for Fallout New Vegas, that makes a bigger difference than a lot of the other mods that I've installed. Obviously, the textures on the ground are much higher. The rocks are higher quality. This is actually insane. What? That you can see this much? Yeah, I mean, it does make a huge difference being able to see things in the distance. It makes the world feel more, well, real, more lived in. So I think that's actually the biggest change. Obviously, textures on cars are much better. Textures in general. There's a few things that haven't improved yet. I've got a few fixes on people, but you'll notice when I was using a mod that upscaled a lot of the textures, and his clothing did look better, but it was a bit of a... It was a mod that's like 10 gigabytes, and the improvement you get for those 10 gigabytes is questionable. So I decided, you know what I'll do is lay off that, and I'll just start finding mods that individually add really good and really optimized textures for things like the outfits. I think that's just going to be better. If you see stutters, by the way, that is unfortunately a problem with streaming this game. It's not stuttering for me. It's the capture card is just getting stutters for reasons that I'm having difficulty figuring out. I may have a fix for it, and if I was going to do a lot of Let's Playing, I might fix it, but seeing as all I'm going to be doing is making videos where I do shots like this to show people the difference. Yeah. When I start doing gameplay footage, I might need to fix it. I think what I've got to do is go back to my old setup, which is a cloned setup rather than a pass-through, because I do not remember having this issue before. It sometimes doesn't do it, though. It's sometimes you get lovely... Especially when I stand still. It feels like it's if I move and... There. Stutters. But not in-game. So don't worry. Nothing to do with the mods I'm using at all. I do see more stutters with all of these mods installed. It's usually when I'm looking around at the distant terrain a little. But it's not terrible. But like I said, so overall, I'm happy with the textures. I'm happy with the lighting. There's 100 more mods I want to install that will tweak individual textures. But the overall landscape, I think the overall landscape looks good. I like the road. I'm loving the distant terrain now. It's... yeah. Beyond that, I don't think there's much else to say. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm probably going to upload this at some point so people can... Yeah, this was the one, Red Rock Canyon. It looks terrible in vanilla. Believe it or not, as bad as this. It looked worse with Legacy Reborn for some reason. Which is why we ended up with sandstone desert textures. This is my least favorite place in the game for visuals. I don't like it. It doesn't look good in vanilla. It doesn't look good with an awful lot of mods. It doesn't actually look too bad with NMCs, just NMCs. Single Cell Organism, thank you for the $10 super chat. The loading screen had double text, did it? Oh, it did. I wonder what that is. Who cares? So, yeah. I've been checking it out in a lot of different places. Oh, hey, Roy, how you doing? You want to see TTW DLC finished? Yeah, I've still got it on my list of things to do. I want to do Point Lookout and probably whatever the Brotherhood one was. I'm not doing Into the Pit. But yes, I'd like to do the other two. I'm not seeing any obvious flaws here. Broken Steel. Yeah, I always forget the name of that. Now, what I did notice was Mojave Skylines... It doesn't show the signs as obviously as the Better Strip one did here. But I think it's fine. I think it's just probably placed more faithfully. I'd have to wait here. Alright. Are there enemies around? I want to see what the night looks like. Am I talking about taking Josh to New Vegas? No, I don't. I genuinely don't feel... I think Tale of Two Wastelands, doesn't it reset your character when you go to New Vegas? Doesn't it just reset everything? If Alt-Tab is feasible, you could print screen to easy view comparison. That's not a terrible idea, actually. It doesn't reset! Oh. Okay, well then I'm not ruling out Josh going to New Vegas. I mean, that could be funny. Oh. Okay. You know what? I've got too many things to do. I also don't have time to do anything at the moment. You guys know I'm still playing through KCD 2, and I'm having difficulty getting recording done during the day because of all the noise outside. Are there enemies still nearby? Where the hell are these enemies, and why are they not coming to get killed right now? I tell you, playing without a mod that lets me sprint is painful. One thing here. What I found was if you do that and then wait, I think it actually still has an effect. Do you know what? Jingle jangle. Oh, it's not lit up. I wonder if that's a bug, if I've done something wrong. That should be... Shouldn't that be lit up, or am I looking at the wrong thing?
Personal space meaning anything to you, guy?
Gotta say, though, it just... Doesn't it look better when it's darker? Could have sworn that thing was supposed to be lit up. Reload the cell. This, believe it or not, is the Jack. This is the Jack save, kind of, with none of the mods installed.
We've got stuff we're not even allowed to sell, people. Only at Mickey.
Oh, now it's working. Ah, okay, so it's probably just a... Yeah, alright. Either that or it switched on just as I was going through. Okay. But look, it's a bajillion times more interesting. It really is. I think it's Silver Rush.
If it can be bought, it can be found at Mick and Ralph's.
Kid chasing the... Was it a rat he's always chasing? Yeah. Who's getting nostalgic now? You got the open cell apartments in the mod list? No, 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 no. Why did his sleep and food levels go down when waiting, but thirst went up? Right, yeah. So there seems to be some sort of weird bug. If you hit the wait thing and then turn hardcore on and off, or turn it off. Obviously, just don't do that. It's not really a bug that I think needs to be fixed, but I do think there is some weirdness going on. So it does not matter. That is absolutely not important at all. But there you go. So right now, I'm a happy bunny. Wall fixed there. Yeah, we're expecting it fixed, Wall. He says, like he's in the know. And as I say, now one thing I did do, I added a second road mod that added a road under texture. I really got fed up of the dark, you know, and it's a part of the vanilla game as well. There was like dark dirt all around the road, like the road tarmac had rubbed off into the dirt, but that really doesn't suit my purposes if the entire reason I'm using a road that's so much lighter is because the asphalt will have been sun bleached. It just looked odd, so I've added a second mod, but only but it's only using the under textures, and those under textures seem to match the sandstone one. So now Gopher can bug you to fix that. So yeah. That's it. That's all I literally wanted to tell you guys. And what I will try to do is get this collection uploaded. Oh, I'm going to try and get it done this weekend. For anybody who wants to try it out and just see if it works. But it will be a testing collection only for a while. And again, understand, I will be adding probably 1,000 other mods. I did want to archive the LOD textures, but that's problematic on Vortex, at least. This is one of the ways where Mod Organizer 2 is probably a stronger choice. But the basic problem is, at the moment with this collection, yup. Now there are ways I could do this. I think yup, if I remember this correctly, it's only meshes that are conflicting. I could take all the textures together, but again, I do miss Vert's Wasteland Flora overhaul here. Yeah. Sorry, I was a bit distracted there. That's my LOD. Let me have a look at this. Yeah. So what I've done is all of the other files it conflicted with, like the ones from NMCs, etc. I've actually removed them from those mods. But for Yup, it's got a bunch of... Okay. Yeah. I think it's mostly meshes. Oh no, there's one texture. It's always that Wasteland Envy buildings. Roy, Wall, why is it every mod that touches meshes or bloody textures includes a Wasteland Envy buildings DDS? Every single bloody one of them. Bug Nexus to let other mod managers use collections. I don't know if they refuse to let you use other collections. I don't know. Oh, they possibly will, because they probably insist that you make it only work automatically for premium members. So unless you can absolutely guarantee your mod manager isn't going to do a workaround, or someone's going to come up with a plugin for it that'll do the workaround on that, you are going to get no joy on them whatsoever, is my honest assessment of that. Well, half of us effing hate Vortex. Yeah, but then you're not going to be using a collection anyway, are you? because it's the LOD Atlas for objects. But does it need to be? I suppose they change the textures on it. It just, right. I mean, to be honest, then, I could probably. Well, no. See, that's one of the files that I would absolutely need to replace. See, one way around this is I could archive all of the textures in the LOD mod. And just, would that actually help performance? Or does the same apply to the meshes as well? There's just not as many meshes, so it might not be quite as big a deal. Modding isn't a business. It is for Nexus. Always has been. It's been a business for Nexus since, I don't know, 2007? I think Test Nexus has been feeding ads since, well, for a long, long time. Object Atlas load once per world enter, so packing them isn't that helpful. Okay, so what I could probably do then is pack all the textures except that one, not pack the meshes, and archive those. The big problem, it's landscape textures and meshes that are loaded in and out again while you walk. Right. Well, duh, but other modding site gatekeeps. But no other modding site gatekeeps. I'm not sure what I mean by gatekeeps, to be honest. You mean has membership? You mean has premium membership? Yeah, probably. But like, let's be honest, Nexus is a business. Nexus has been a business, but I don't know how long premium memberships have been in existence. Nexus has been in the business of making money, not exclusively, and I'm not even totally sure it is exclusively that at the moment either. It still feels like the people involved love modding, but it's still a business. No, why are we talking about this? That's not going to change, guys. That is not going to change. I mean, it's not like I have any sway over them. Object NIFs are also loaded in and out, but there's less of them, although they are larger files, so that's also a factor. Right. Well, the other option is I just figure out exactly. The thing is I need, because my LOD only competes with Yup at the moment, I could probably finagle it a little bit. But what I worry about is there will be other people who will install mods over the top of it. And if I've archived it, the mods they install over the top will ruin the LOD I've created. But I guess that's on them, I suppose. Forcing us to use subpar utilities in order to access features is gatekeeping. I don't know what that means, Roy. This sounds like a conversation you've had with someone else, but I don't know what we mean by subpar utilities. You mean Vortex? Is this Vortex hate? No, they don't force anyone to use Vortex. You can use Mod Organizer. Loads of people still using it, don't they? It's Vortex hate. Oh, but look, I totally understand that. I hated Vortex when I started using it. God knows. I completely understand people who hate it. But I'm saying, you know, they don't force you to use it. It's just this new collections feature that they've added. They're trying to use that to generate, you know, membership. Which is why they've put all this work into collections. And like I said, I'm not sure they would be against Mod Organizer 2 handling collections, but only if it would behave the same way. I'm guessing. I mean, but like, it's not like they tell me this. I'm guessing, basically. Anyway. Back to this. Right. So, yeah, I am worried about making a collection and then someone will say, oh, I want another mod, and they stick a bunch of other mods in. You know, they want to overwrite the road. Mind you, I suppose it wouldn't be. No, you see, if they did the road, then all the LODs would be wrong. They'd have to regenerate the LOD. I think I probably have to come up with some element of, okay, if you're going to install a bunch of stuff that sits on top of this mod with regards to landscapes, you're probably going to have to redo the LOD yourself. Right? That's probably what I'll have to do. A Wall and Roy fighting. Stop fighting. So I'm probably gonna have to do that. If I wanna make it perform a little better, first of all I should actually check to see if it does perform any better, shouldn't I? I should actually archive them. And then see. But I'm probably doing this, making my life a little more difficult because every single solitary time. Let's have a look at the meshes. We've got, that's 9,000 meshes. I'm guessing it would be better if I did actually bundle most of those. I think what I need to do is figure out which meshes Yup does and just leave them unarchived or include those just so they overwrite Yup. The other option, I can actually delete those files in Yup. That's the easiest option, actually. Here's the problem. If they've used another collection or they've installed Yup themselves, those files will be... I don't quite know how it would work, you see, is what I'm saying. I think it would be dangerous to do that. If this was just one collection and I could say, don't use anything else other than this collection, I probably could get away with that. But I think if I'm going to make this collection compatible with other collections, mine included, I need to make it so that it will work with Yup in its default installation. So I think what I'll do, can I force rules for load order? Oh, we can. But what we're talking about, Roy, is archiving all of the files in my LOD mod, which is 9,000 bloody meshes, 9,200 meshes, and 17,000 textures. Archive them. Of course, you know already, Yup has its textures free, doesn't it? Or doesn't it? I'm pretty sure Yup has its textures free. Which means they will overwrite any archive. They always get loaded last. Shouldn't you be able to go the other way around and remove the stuff from the LOD that you want Yup to overwrite? Yeah, but there's nothing I want. The LOD is the last thing. The LOD files are the things that have been generated by FNV LOD generator. Sorry, it's not XLOD gen. And they've taken into account everything, including Yup, probably. So I need them to overwrite. So this is where with Mod Organizer, you could get it to treat the files. You could basically tell it which files to use, regardless of whether they were loose. This is something that, as far as I know, you know what? I've not tried it in ages, but I'm guessing it doesn't look inside archives. God, if it did, that would be great. That would be great. I might. Roy, do you think we could bug the Vortex people, the Nexus people, and get them to add that as a feature? That would be really useful, wouldn't it? For the chatters, archive invalidation makes loose files override packed files. Yeah, and you kind of have to use the archive invalidation as well. Because, well, yeah, you do. So many mods have got loose files that it would be... I mean, is it possible I could do this another way around? See, the thing is I can't take all of Yup's textures or all NMC's textures and archive them. I can't do that. Overwrite the Yup files as long as you have the same named file for Yup, so it loads your files and not Yup's. No, but the problem is you cannot overwrite free files. What do I mean by free files? Okay, if you go into Yup and you look at it, this is what it adds to the data folder. Textures in a folder, meshes in a folder. You go into the textures, it's got its own textures. They're all loose. You could compare that to, oh God, I'm trying to think of a mod I might have that might have an archive. Right, my own mod, Advanced Recon Gear. I have all of the textures and meshes archived in a BSA. Don't know why I said BSE. BSA. So you can mess around. Now it doesn't share any textures or meshes with anything else anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you can mess around, and the order you load those archives in decides which wins. So all your mods are BSA'd properly. Yeah, I mean, basically, that's how I would recommend doing them. But let's be honest, that's not going to happen in Fallout New Vegas. It's probably not going to happen in any game. So, technically, if you pack all mods into BSAs, then you can do whatever you want. But that's another thing. Right, I mean, it's not that I couldn't fix this for myself, but I couldn't then upload that to Nexus as a collection, right? You're pushing your bloody luck there, I think. As you said, 2011 modding practices. Yeah. Well, let's face it, a lot of the people. Hey, there's a lot of people still in the modding scene making mods who've got 2011 modding mentality. So just archive it and keep the Yup conflicting files loose. Yeah, but that would break the LOD. That's my point. I can archive it and I keep the Yup files loose, but then the Yup files will overwrite my LOD files, which I do not want. So what I will do, I think I'll archive them all, and then I will look at which ones Yup has. None of the textures are a problem, apparently. So I will figure out exactly which mod meshes are, because there's too many to do all of them. Basically, I'm just going to go through one at a time on that list, which is 290 bloody something, wasn't it? How many was it? 204 files. I'm just going to go through this list of files, and I'm going to copy, and I'm going to have those included loose, as well as an archive. And that'll just override Yup. So these files will be a little less efficient, but that's 206 files out of what looks like about 26,000. So that should at least improve things a little. Yep. Everyone wants better performance, right? Yeah. So I'd say that was the simplest way. And obviously, I could then recommend people archive all their bloody textures. That's a them problem. Just get rid of Yup's landscape LOD folder and both meshes and textures. No need to go one by one. That's the problem, Wall. On NMCs, I've just removed the folders that I don't need. My thought process there is you're only going to install NMCs on a mod that does that. Why have those? There is something wrong with my collection. It's not enabled everything. Have I been clicking things too fast? That sometimes can get it. Oh no, it's the LOD files. Right, yes, no, I've removed the LOD files from it. Tedium at its best there. Sorry, it's modding talk. Right, no, so the problem becomes Yup is not just for a visual collection. I've got Yup on God knows how many of my collections. I bet I've got it on... No, I don't have it on... I've got it on my stability collection. So unless I do the same on my stability collection, which would then make that, in its base form, not function. See, I'm trying to make this pick and mix so people can say, oh, I just want something that installs the basic bug fix ones. And then maybe, they decide they want a facelift or they decide they want a UI mod and they can pick and mix. It's just LOD doesn't come in parts like normal meshes and textures. It's all or nothing. If one thing is off, it will break because it's baked into a very specific setup. Yeah. So I think what I'll do is I'll do it that way. I'll for now I'll have those files override YOP. So yeah, and it is basically because YOP is so goddamn essential that I don't want to be pigging around with this. NMCs, I mean, if I go to NMCs, I've actually removed some files from it. And Vortex will remember that. So when the collection installs, it will actually install it with the exact same files I chose. So, like if I go along to NMCs, you can see it replicates what I've got in my folder. But for YOP, oh, wait. Oh, no, I have already got it replicating, but I've got it replicating the exact same for my stability one as my remaster one. I will give this a thought. There might be a way I can get it all done, but honestly, I think worrying about 206, well, it was 203 meshes and 3 textures. I think worrying about that is probably a little too much for the worry about performance. Anyone who wants that much performance, delete YOP, team MMUE. What's MMUE? There's a plugin for Vortex now that you can sort on your own load order. Yeah, okay. Don't really need it, but that's fine. But what is MMUE? You're joking. Okay. So I shouldn't check up MMUE. I knew you wouldn't be telling me to remove YOP. Yeah, I mean, really, I think if you need the performance of those 206 textures and meshes, you're probably the sort of person who's not using a collection anyway, right? Am I right? I'm right. Cutting corners. Mission Mojave Ultimate Edition. Am I stepping into a world of drama now, Roy? Are you trying to drag me into some drama? I feel like you might be trying to drag me into some drama. Yup is needed. Yeah, no, I did. It's ancient bug fix mod. Oh, God. No, I remember. Yes, I remember. Oh, wow. Yeah. But as you said, ancient. So anyway, yeah, it's close to a workable state. I'll work on the archive. I'll get that working and functioning, and I'll see if I can get the performance a little bit better. Again, I actually suspect, unless you're running it at super high refresh rates, if you lock it at 60 frames a second, you wouldn't even need to worry anyway. I think you only notice this when you're doing super high frame rates. That's when the stutters seem to come in a little bit. Although that's not necessarily true either. Maybe I should lock it at 60 and see what it does. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to archive that, sort that out, and I'm probably going to try and upload it over the weekend. Once I do, you're more than welcome to check it out for me. Give me some feedback. Tell me if I've done anything wrong, if any of the textures are the wrong way round, that type of thing. And in the meantime, what I'll be doing is looking for I've got a bunch of other mods I'm looking at. Like there's a mod specifically to just retexture the bus stop that I want. Because after noticing the bus stop, I just can't not notice it. That's how it is. So what are we talking about now? New Vegas doesn't crash every hour either. Who are you talking to? Fallout 3 is a billion times more stable as it can play for hours and not be crashing every 5 minutes. Yeah, Fallout 3 is probably more stable now, I guess. But I'd still recommend Tale of Two Wastelands. You get all the improvements of Fallout New Vegas, and the Fallout New Vegas modding scene is insanely active. Vortex just works most of the time. It just sometimes makes it a little harder to fix things if stuff does break. I don't actually find it hard to fix things with Vortex. I find it hard to break things. Which may sound odd, but if you think about it, it shouldn't be that odd. There are times when I just want to go, yeah, I wonder what'll happen if I just do this. And Vortex goes, no, you told me you shouldn't do that. And I go, okay, ignore that. Yeah, but you also told me you shouldn't do this. Okay, fine, ignore that. Right, but if you remember, and then you just give up and install Mod Organizer for a while. It's Vortex is not really designed for people who want to dick about with their load order. It's designed for people who specifically don't dick about with their load order and annoy the living daylights out of mod authors by reporting bugs that they shouldn't be reporting. You'll find a lot of old-timers, people like Roy, hate Vortex. But a lot of mod authors will tell you, since Vortex, they've had a hell of a lot less stupid questions. It's kind of, you know... People do that anyways. Yeah, they're probably using mod organizers, Roy. Oh God, what have you done? You've offended the bot, Wall. What have you said? Kind of want to see it now. View deleted message. There you go. So yeah, no, I can tell you right now that as a mod maker, there were more than a few times there were frustrating comments. That is why I ended up making video guides for people. It's why I made Unified HUD, which was like a really brute force, horrible version of UIO. Because people just could not read and follow the instructions given. And honestly, I'm not even mad at people for not being able to do it, because it's the sort of stuff that technically minded people can do. But for a lot of people, it's like, open up main HUD XML. Now travel down until you find a line. And most of them have already gone, UIO is awesome. It is. So, you know, Vortex is for those people. Because you put on your mod, please, when you install this, make sure you put it in the data folder and make sure it's loading. You always get the, like, make sure it's loaded last in your load order, right? Which is the most common one. And then 90% of the people who install your mod do not do that. But then they come and report a bug. What game had the most frustrating comments regarding mods? For me, it's got to be New Vegas, but that's the one I modded the most. And also, it was very early days. The most annoying comments were usually from people who refused to use Nexus Mod Manager or something. You used to get snarky comments. Please include instructions on how to install this manually. I don't have time to be messing around with Nexus Mod Manager or whatever mod manager we were using. And my response was usually, well, if you don't need a mod manager to install your mods, you don't need instructions to install your mods. Yeah. The manual install cabal. Yeah. I'm sorry, if you are absolutely wedded to manually copying files into your data folder, overwriting files and taking all those risks, and sorting out your load order with a bloody text file. In fact, no, didn't we have to? How did we do it in the day? Didn't we have to change the date on them? I can't even remember how we did it in the day. If you were so wed to doing that, you shouldn't need instructions on how to install my mod. I refuse to support manual install users. Yeah, I'm of the opinion, you don't need it. And if you do need instructions on how to install manually, you shouldn't be installing manually. I'm going to go one step further, though. Nobody should be installing manually anymore. You just shouldn't. It's not that you can't, you just shouldn't. Manually installing before using Mod Manager is the way to go for me to understand the structure. I'm not saying those of you who grew up in the era of manual install didn't gain valuable experience, but let's all be honest, those of us who did it, a lot of that valuable experience involved spending 25 hours creating a load order only to install one mod, break the entire damned thing and have to start again. This time, making backups every step of the way, right? It was just terrifying. I mean, come on, some of you probably haven't been here that long. How many of you were there during the good old FO3 days, the Fallout 3 days? Getting FWE working with Obscures? Was it OO? What was his mod called? Obscures Overhaul mod, the monster one, the project, the one that made everyone beautiful, and God, there was a bunch of them. There was like four or five essential mods. But to get them all working together, you had to use the Fallout something interoperability project. Yeah, it was Fallout 3 interoperability project. MMM. Was it? No, it was Mart's, wasn't it? It was Mart's mutant mod. It was Mart's mutant mod, not Obscure's. What was it? Obscure was Oblivion, of course. Mart's mutant mod. Right. FWE and some other mods, right? The interoperability project. And you'd end up basically installing only about 15 mods, right? And you'd have something like less than 20 plugins. Because honestly, back in those days, you didn't want that many plugins. But you would probably have spent 7 hours just installing those. And every step felt like defusing a bomb. Yeah. So, yeah. That's because Fallout 3 modding had to have separate plugins for the base game and each DLC. Yeah, no, I mean, just the whole, everything. I mean, it's so much easier to mod Bethesda games now. It really is. Both as a mod maker and as a mod user. But as a mod user, it is orders of magnitude. I mean, this collection thing, it just trivializes it. Once I get this up and running, you will be able to install like 25 mods that will make the game more stable, 25 to 30 mods that add the Darnified UI and a bunch of other UI improvements. Probably the remaster mod will end up being like 100 and something mods just to make it look pretty. Then I'll have a mod for gameplay, a collection for gameplay that will probably add like 40 or 50 mod. And in total, it'd be like 250 bloody mods, and you just clicked a few buttons. Honestly, it's kind of annoying to us old timers. It's like, and you know, there are people who are going to go, I don't understand why this is so difficult. Because there are still people who are like that. There are still people who come along and they're like, why am I going to install a mod manager? Why don't I just click a button here on the website and it installs it on my thing? Kind of want to throttle people like that. Only for premium members. Anyone else will still have a pain. You still won't have a pain, FK. This is why I sometimes want to like shake the internet. This collection I'm making is going to be, let's say it's currently 76 mods. Yeah, if you've got premium membership, you click a button and it's just going to go straight in and install, right? But if you're not, if you're a free user, it's still mind-numbingly simple compared to how it used to be. It's like a gajillion times easier than it used to be. Yeah, you've got to visit. Basically what will happen is the collection, you'll click on the collection and then the collection will say, you need to download NBSC. Click here. You'll click there. Then it'll pop up. You need to install such and such a mod. Click here. And you just click. You'll click like 75 times. Yeah. It's a little annoying. You just installed 75 mods with 75 plus 1 click. 76 clicks. If you could go back with a time machine and tell me that was going to happen, I would have laughed at you. That is still like 100 times quicker and simpler than installing 75 mods was 20 years ago or 15 years ago. I mean, it really is. I mean, 75 mods was probably your limit 15 years ago because they probably came with multiple plugins and you'd hit the plugin limit at some point pretty damned quick. So yeah, I get it. Today, 1,800 mods, lol. Yeah, I mean, some people were saying about that, that collection I covered. 1,800 mods. Oh, that's only going to be installable with people who are premium members. Someone in the comments went, nope, I'm a free member and I installed it. It took me several hours, but I installed it. Several hours to install 1,800 mods without having to engage your brain, because literally you just watch Netflix while you're doing it. I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time sympathizing. Oh. So yeah, I love Gopher's tirades. Yes, no, I'm not shouting at you for FK, but so yeah, I mean, look, I get it. I think a lot of people are just annoyed because they're trying to push premium membership, but as we've already established, they've been a business for almost 20 years. Yeah, they're trying to push premium membership. Here's how I look at it. As long as, while they're pushing premium membership, they're not actually removing anything from free users, I'm okay with it. And let's face it, as I've just pointed out, free users, the collection's still adding a huge benefit. Collections without premium aren't difficult, just tedious. Yeah, Larry, that's pretty much it. Whereas, once upon a time, installing 1,800 mods, installing 180 mods would not have been tedious, but it would have been extremely difficult and extremely time consuming. It would have taken you weeks. It would just, to install that many mods and get them working with each other and, because you don't just load up 180 mods, install them all, and then everything works. You could follow Wall's guide. That's probably going to take you an afternoon, maybe a couple of afternoons as you're doing things. Probably more than that, actually. I've looked at the guide. I looked at several sections of it. It's probably going to take you a few evenings messing about, trying to get everything working. You bought Lifetime back in 2012. Yeah, I've got Lifetime as well. So some of us are lucky. I get it. Some of us are lucky. Fastest you can do VNV is 30 minutes. Yeah, Wall, I'm going to guess that's if you already know what you're doing, though, right? And let's be honest, on average, it takes a day for people. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, like... Isn't Nexus under new ownership? It is. It is. And they're definitely making a push on the collections, which makes sense. But like I said, I prefer that than them focusing on trying to make premium membership by, I don't know, not letting you have free downloads or like limiting free members to 2 downloads a week or something. You know, you can think of a million ways where they could try to hurt the free users to encourage them to become premium members. And they've not done that. They, you know, I mean, you can call it cynical, but it's almost certain they came up with collections as a way to add value without taking something away from the free users. And I'd rather they did it that way round. Don't give them ideas. Oh, you don't think they will have had that idea, Adam? Seriously? You don't think someone thought of that in a meeting at some point? Possibly didn't even dare say it. It's just... How much is premium, though? Can't be... Find the price. Isn't it about $5 for a month or something? Less than Game Pass. Oh dear. Game Pass. I keep seeing Xbox trailers coming up, and I glance at the comments just for a giggle, and like all of them are about Game Pass. Nothing about the trailer, whatever game it is. So yeah. So yeah, I mean, you only get one mod an hour as a free user isn't how you get more premium users. It's how you stop being the site everyone uses to host mods. Exactly, Larry. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're doing all this out of the goodness of their heart. I'm just saying they've chosen a business model to encourage premium use that is better than, well, that isn't actively removing things from existing users. And again, I'm not saying that they wouldn't if they thought they could. Although I don't know if they would. I mean, I do think the people who work there love modding and wouldn't want to drive off free users. I never use Game Pass. I don't trust Windows apps. I don't blame you. I've had Game Pass. It's a great concept. I really like the idea of Game Pass. And I don't mind... I mean... I don't even mind the fact that I don't get things like the DLC for Indiana Jones. I got to play Indiana Jones and I just paid for Game Pass. But yeah, the whole Xbox installer is a right royal nightmare. It's absolute garbage. And the store is terrible. It's absolutely appalling. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here because it's late. It's late. And I think I stopped doing anything actually... functional a while ago. Yeah, keep your eyes open. I'll try and get it out this weekend. If not, I'll try and get it out early next week. And I'll be moving on to gameplay. If I can get, oh, and I should upload my VUI, my vanilla UI collection as well. If I can get those two out, the vanilla UI and the remaster one, and gameplay out before season 2 starts, I'll be happy. So, yeah, I'm semi-expecting a lot of people to be watching season 2 of Fallout and going, oh, I want to play Fallout New Vegas now. So, and you guys are just ignoring me now and talking to each other. Okay, right. Good night. I will see you on Sunday for Darkest Dungeon if you care to join me for that. Good night.